Good evening. 3 years ago, I I planned a trip to South Korea. I wanted to spend a couple of months in Seoul for various reasons. One was to meet an old friend, and I wanted to understand more about South Korea specialty coffee scene and understand a little bit more about Buddhism. So my main plan was to try to get a job in a coffee shop, like kind of like volunteer project, just volunteer work. So in exchange of accommodation, food, or even just accommodation. So I started to email coffee shops in Seoul. I searched for them on Instagram and messaged them directly. I sent like hundreds and hundreds of messages and emails trying to get some work experience in a Korean coffee shop, but like nothing. I couldn't get any. So I would go anyway. So I would try to find something else. So I knew about like a few websites like Workpakers, Workaway that are focused on volunteer projects. So I started to search for something in Seoul, and mainly was like hostels, so like cleaning in exchange of accommodation, but like nothing. I couldn't get anywhere. Like most of them never replied. The few that did reply said that there was no jobs for me. One even said that they were looking for some like young team, so they were not interested. Like, what does that mean? I have no idea. I mean, they only need someone clean the room. So, but anyway, obviously they wanted the young people for some reason. So after a while, I got an inspiration. So now I believe that what we call ideas or inspirations, it's always inspired by something bigger than us, greater than us. And in this case, I had this idea again. This idea, I'm sure, that was sent to me by something else, something greater than me. And the idea was, why, considering that I meditate on a daily basis, and most of my beliefs are Buddhist, even if I'm not really like I don't really think I can call myself Buddhist, but most of my beliefs and the way I go through life is basically Buddhist. So I thought, why not trying to get into a temple, like have again, like try to get into a temple to learn and understand more about Buddhism. Uh, and in my free time, I could go and visit coffee shops and understand more about Korean coffee cultures. And I could use the time in the temple to meditate and learn more about business, Buddhism. And I always been fascinated by monks and nuns' lifestyle. So that would be, I thought, a good way to practice meditation in a very spiritual context, and understand more about the life of them. So again, I started to research for temples in Seoul. Got emailed them, and basically most of it say that, well, many didn't reply. Some that replied say that they didn't have any projects going on, any opportunities to let me stay until and finally I found one. Like I emailed this temple, they replied this and says that they did not like take foreigners, and but they knew a temple that was running a foreigners project, and they would be willing to take me potentially. So I get the email, I get the contacts, um, I get in touch, and the day after, I got a reply saying that yeah, they were really happy to have me. I mean, obviously, I explained what I wanted to do, why I was going there, everything. I was being very clear. So they replied to me, very happy to have me. And and they say that I could stay for a week for sure, and then they would decide if let me stay longer. Obviously, I needed something else to do while I was there, so I got on work papers, and finally I found this English school. So they needed, so they were running a course, not a course, but basically along with teaching English, they were basically hiring volunteers to hold a conversation in English with the Koreans that needed to practice. And I got 2 weeks that considered coincide, I guess, with my last 2 weeks in Seoul. That was perfect. So 15 hours a week, 2 days off, and in exchange of accommodation. That was perfect. So I only needed to cover basically a month and a week, but it was okay because I started to play any scenario, and as a worst scenario, just go in a hostel and just spend a month on a budget. So they would be fine. So perfect, happy, organize my trip, get a very cheap flight to change my flight in China. The day arrives, I go, arrive in China, change my flight, arrive in Seoul in the middle of the night. You know, I decided to stay for the night in the airport and then head to the temple in the morning. And I couldn't sleep. So eventually I ended up at first chatting with a girl from Hong Kong. And it was a really interesting conversation. Like, she was telling me how much she didn't connect with the place, the land she was born in and grew up with. She couldn't connect with the community in Hong Kong. She felt so different, and her dream was at some point to go and live in a foreign country in the West. So it was a really good conversation. We had a great time chatting, and then she left, and and someone, a guy, sit next to me, and then he started a conversation. He was a guy from Uzbekistan. He was in Seoul for study at the university, and it was a really good conversation. We spoke about everything, like politics, philosophy, spirituality, religion, and then like when we got to the point to talk about religion, basically came out that the guy, this young guy, was quite a fanatic, religious fanatic, and tried it basically to convince me to believe in what he believed, and I was like, okay, now I think it's too much. So, with the excuse that I needed the bathroom, I ran away and came out from the bathroom, find a place opposite where he was, and I managed to sleep a couple of hours, like I think 2 3 hours. Underground opens, and I get the train, and I get in Hongdae. Hongdae is a neighborhood in Seoul. It was like an hour from the airport, and I began to search for the temple, but I keep going around and around and around, and I couldn't find it. So I managed to get hold of the nun that I've been exchanging emails, and finally I managed to get to the right address, and just to discover that basically the temple wasn't like a temple in the way we could think about the temple, but it was a hostel run by monks and nuns that was like a way to fund the temples, their temples around Seoul. I but she explained that in the last floor of that hostel there was the proper temple, and from there the name was just be temple, and she tells me how my time would be spent. So would be basically morning early meditation and prayers, and then I will start to learn about Buddhism, and help them with cleaning and everything. So it was perfect for me because you know it was exactly at the hand of what I would wanted to achieve when I started to email temples, and in the free time I could basically go to visit coffee shops up like, and understand what they like, how they drink coffee, and what people think about coffee. Because I knew that Korea has a very big coffee culture,